Hi everyone, today I'm going to be tying a mini straggle string cat's whisker with a nice bright head and without eyes. So the first thing we do is we put the hook that we're going to be using into the vise, and the hook is Heavy Wet Supreme from Parties at Redditch. It's my favourite wet fly hook. The first thing is our thread, and I'm going to be demonstrating with the thread how to keep the colour of the body nice and bright and nice and true. Now I'm going to be using straggle string for the body, okay, and I'm going to use this nice green colour. This is the straggle string from Semperfly, okay. Now what I mean by keeping the colour true is because it's such a fine material and a bright material, if you use a dark thread with this material or any similar materials, it tends to show through, especially when the fly gets wet. So to keep the colour true as we want it, we're going to match the thread to the material. So the first thing we do is we take our thread that we're going to use, and this is from UTC, and it's the chartreuse, and it's a 140. We catch on just behind the eye and roll the thread down using the tag end to keep it nice and neat, just like so. When we get to the finished position where the tail is going to start, we trim our waste away, and we take our thread back up nice and neatly to 3/4 of the way up the shank of the hook. Now for the tail, I'm going to be using Glow Bright number 4. I take roughly 10 inches, place the ends tip to tip. Yeah, hold them, run them down together till we get to the loop. Put the loop on the scraggy ends tip to tip, like so. Okay, so we've got that. We catch the tail in where the thread is laying, lift the bottom end and tie down towards the finish position, which is there. This piece, fold over, catch it in, and that's going to form our tail. Now because we put in the straggle on top, go back up with the thread, nice touching turns, just to cover the colour. Come back down to the tail position. Now the length of the tail that we're looking for, it's only going to be a type of a tag tail. So if we go to the bend, the back of the bend of the hook, pull the tail nice and tight, come up with the scissors and cut away like so. Now for the body, we go to our straggle, take a nice green colour, we cut off 6 inches or so. Look at the material, and what you'll find is most of the fibres will be pointing in one direction like an arrow. So as you can see, these are pointing backwards, and that's what we're looking for. And we catch the straggle in at the back end with a one turn, nice and tight. Work the thread up with the tail, just touch it down as you go in, just to catch it in like so, covering that nice bright red colour. And when we get there, which is 3/4 of the way up, just form a body, come up, touching turns, just sweep those little bright fibres back, touching turns, There we go. Sweep them back so they don't get caught. Up we go. Maybe one more. When we get to that position, cross your thread. 1, 2, 3 turns. Trim your waste away. Okay, now make sure everything's sitting nice and neatly. If you've got any little fibres poking forward, just pull them back. Pull them back. Take your time, get it right. 1, 2 turns, and there we are. Take your dubbing needle, if I can find my one. My dubbing needle's got a dubbing brush on it. Okay, so just give it a little tease, just to pull those nice, shiny, bright fibres of the straggle forward, like so. Right, for the wing, we take some marabou, and there is a technique to tie a marabou in. If you, for a small lure like this is, a size 10, take a tip of your finger, place the marabou into the first crease or the tip of the finger, and pinch off. Pull it together. Get rid of the little fluffy bits. Pinch it together. Give it a little roll. Take your scissors. Cut the end nice and square. Keep all of it tight. Give the tip, and look how much has come off there. Give it a little pluck, and you pull the little fuzzy ends off. Get rid of those. Give it another little trim, just like so, to make it nice and square. And what that does, that process, it stops the little fuzzy bits from poking out of the head when we actually catch the marabou in. So it keeps the head nice and small, nice and neat, because you haven't got to keep tying thread on to get rid of the little fuzzy pieces. So when we're at that stage, we catch it in where we need it. Come around with a pincher loop. 1 turn, 2, 3. There's a little bit of straggle there, just catch him down. That's good. That's looking pretty good. Now for the length, with your finger, from the back end of the hook, half the width, half of the length of the tip, place it there. Okay, so if you imagine there's a line in your finger, place it there, pinch it, and pull the little fibres off. So place it there, and now just doctor it to get the nice flowing shape. Okay, so basically when you trim the marabou, you want to use the shape of your finger or the outline of your thumb to get the shape of the wing that's required. Okay, now to change the colour of the head, we take fluorescent orange UTC, this is 140. We catch in behind the eye, put a few turns on, cross over chartreuse thread, and trim the 2 ends away. So now what we've done, get rid of that little piece of fluff there. Now what we've done, we've kept the body nice and true, nice and bright, but now we're going to give it a hot head. For cheeks, I'm going to be taking 2 goose biots, and these are dyed sunburst. Take one off, catch it in, so it's just short, well, we'll give it the length of the actual body, so we'll catch it on with the one hand, hold it with your thumb, 1, 2 turns, just adjust it, make sure it sits right, like like so. Turn the fly in the vise, go to the other side with the other cheek, exactly the same thing, length of the body, catch it on, 1, 2 turns, adjust it as we want it, just manipulate it, and that's good. Give the silk a little turn to tighten it up, come down to just behind the eye, and then we fold the 2 bayets back on themselves. And this secures them. When you tie it in, this secures them, they'll never pull out. So we pull them back, and now we form a nice neat head. And when we're at that stage, take the bayets, just push them through the wing, hold the thread tight, come on. It's a little bit fidgety, but it's worth it. Just give it a tug. Same the other side. Folding these back on themselves means they will never pull out. Give it a tug. And there we are. We come back down to the eye. Make it nice and neat. Take a whip finish tool. If I can find it. Just drop it on the floor. Right, I found it. Whip finish. 1, 2, 3. Pull it nice and tight. Trim it off, nice and neat. And there we are. That's the fly almost finished. So we've got a nice true colour to the body. We've got a smart, bright tail, and we've got a nice hot head for the head. Now to finish it off, excuse me, we take some UV resin. This is the Diamond Fine from Deer Creek. We just blob it on the head. Take your time with this. These are precision tips on these applicators. So we just blot it on. Roll the flag in the vase. You don't need a lot of this stuff, to be honest. It spreads well. Goes lovely and even. And when you set it with a torch, it goes absolutely rock solid. Just like so. To get the resin to flow nicely, make a nice neat head, we just turn it in the vise. Take your time, there's no need to rush. And when we're happy, we set it with a torch. And when you actually put the UV torch on this pattern, look at that body shine, that straggle. The head shines, the tail, everything just glows. And there we are. So by matching your thread to the colour of the body, it keeps it nice and true, nice and bright, just as we want it. Thanks for watching.